and welcome to another Ryan Sports Views. Tonight I am reviewing Orlando City 1, LAFC 1. Orlando City wins on penalties 5-4, and the MLS is back quarterfinals to send them to the semifinals against either San Jose or Minnesota United, which I'm sure will be an amazing match on the 6th of August. And Orlando City keeps the Cinderella run going at home at Disney in Orlando as the de facto home team. It's not midnight yet. Nope. They keep on going. And LAFC does what they're known to do, bottle the biggest match in a knockout round for them. They get the monkey off their back of beating Seattle, getting revenge off of them, and then they lose to Orlando City, who had a chance, mind you. What did I say in the predictions video? Orlando would have an amazing first half. That they did. They would fall apart in the second half. That they did. It wasn't as good as the first. They let a goal in the 60th minute. The thing that I missed was the fact that they would score right at the end to send it to penalties, and they had the chance to do that. They did. They sent it to penalties, and they were more clinical. So the goals were as follows. In the 60th minute, Diego Rossi has the ball, centers it in the front of goal to Bradley Wright Phillips. Bradley Wright Phillips taps it in like you know he will. That's his 4th of the tournament. 1-0 LAFC. Then in the 90th minute, there is a corner from Nani. The ball gets to Joao Moutinho, former LAFC man, by the way. He heads it in past Vermeer to make it 1-1 and send it to penalties. Then in penalties in the first round, Mauricio Pereira makes his penalty. Francisco Ginella makes his penalty. It's 1-1. Then in the second round, Smith makes his penalty. Jordan Harvey misses his, puts it in the bar to make it 2-1 Orlando. Then in the third round, it would be Joao Moutinho versus Brian Rodriguez. They both make their penalties. It's 3-2 Orlando. In the fourth penalty, it was Antonio Carlos versus Latif Blessing. Or actually, no, it was Joao Moutinho and Diego Rossi. Joao Moutinho makes his. Then Antonio Carlos versus Brian Rodriguez. They both make theirs. Then Latif Blessing makes his to make it 4-4. Then Nani steps up with a lot of past penalty shootouts that he's been in. Experience. There you go. Experience. Nani steps up with all that experience. Knows where to go because earlier in the match, before the BWP goal, Vermeer had saved a penalty off of him. He knows what to do this time. He slots it and wins it for Orlando City SC to make it 5-4 to win the match for them on penalties and send them to the semifinals. What did I think about this match? It was an amazing match to watch. It was great tactically. Both teams were amazing. Both teams were great. Orlando was way better for most of the match. They had more possession. They had more shots and shots on goal. LAFC just looked tired, if I'm being honest. And of course, playing a big match against Seattle like they did a couple of days before, and not getting that much rest. Actually, Orlando got more rest because they played on the first day of the round of 16. LAFC played on the last day. Yeah, the last day, I think. The last day against Seattle. And then they had less rest. And the less rest that they had, the less rest that they had just made it worse for them. Orlando was sharp. All the players were sharp. Chris Mueller has a dog in him for playing that whole first half with a shoulder injury. He's got the dog in him, and I respect that. Then they took him off at the start of the second half for Benji Michel. He played good as well. All the subs did pretty good. Bright DK, not Bright DK, Daryl DK. His brother is Bright DK, who used to play for Toronto FC. Yeah, I remember. He wasn't that good. Daryl is better, I have to say. Daryl is better, I have to say. That he was good. He was good. Pereira was good. Smith was good. All the substitutes were good for Orlando. They got in, kept the tempo. Nani played well. Tesho played well for the first 60 minutes. They don't need Dom Dwyer, that's for sure. They don't need him. Look at that, though. This game was amazing for Orlando City. They saw LAFC were there for the taking. They had a chance. I told you Orlando had a chance. I told you Orlando would fight. They would put it all on the line. And yes, they looked more tired in the second half than they did in the first. But they kept it close enough to where all they had to do was get one. Get one and send it to penalties. And what did they do? They got one, sent it to penalties, won on penalties. LAFC need a lesson in pressure. They need a lesson if they ever want to succeed more than winning a Supporters Shield or Open Cup. They need a lesson in pressure because every time they're in a knockout tournament, they screw it up. First year in the playoffs, losing the knockout round to Real Salt Lake. Nobody expected that, but I loved it. I felt sorry for Steven Beitashour, but the rest of them, nah. I guess and Mark Anthony K. But the rest of them, nah. Then, last year, lose to Seattle in the conference final. After blowing it out your mouth that you thought, oh, we're going to easily beat Seattle. At least this time they didn't talk trash. They didn't chat anything before this game. But they still lost. But they learned something after that Seattle game. They did not chat at all. They didn't chat at all because they knew if they did and they lost, they would be memed for it just like last year. So they learned something from losing that a Western semifinal or Western final, the semifinal before the MLS Cup, but the Western final. They learned something, but they didn't learn how to handle pressure. That's for sure, because the pressure got to them in this game. After making all those subs, it was a sub that is barely in the team that made them lose this match by putting a penalty into the bar. He couldn't even force Gillespie to make a save. He put it in the bar. LAFC got what they deserved to lose again in a knockout tournament. And Orlando goes through the better team. I would say the deserving winners because they played so much better in this match than LA did. LA walked through it. They almost got lucky, but Orlando got the goal that they deserved and won on penalties. They go through deserving winners to the semifinals at home. Still at the Wide World of Sports Complex, against either San Jose or Minnesota. We will find that one out tomorrow night, even though I'm reviewing the FA Cup final tomorrow afternoon. But I'll review the whole semifinal, or the whole quarterfinals, predict the semifinals the day after that. So I'll talk about it still, so I'm still watching, don't worry, both quarters. And yes, Hurricane Isaias will miss Orlando that night. They will get the matches in. It looks like it. I checked the projected path. It looks like the impacts of Isaias will be more Monday instead of, tomorrow's Saturday, Sunday. I'm kind of losing my track of time here. But yeah, if you like this video, like it, share, subscribe. You know what it is. Tell all your friends, as I said. Tomorrow, I will be reviewing the FA Cup final between Chelsea and Arsenal. I'm Ryan and I'm out. Peace.